Hello and welcome back to my channel. Today I thought, well, let's start another round. People have told me, you're playing a lot of Deathmatch on your streams. Why don't you upload any of that content to YouTube? I wasn't really that confident enough, let's say, that the level of gameplay I can deliver you is good enough to justify uploading it to YouTube. But then I had this game and I thought, hey, why not? Also, a little thing later on, in the future, in the near future hopefully, I would like to do a little, small tutorials for Deathmatch, where I tell you what to do in the first few minutes, how to set up your trade and all that stuff. Just small things which should help new players to find into Deathmatch. But that being said, let's now jump straight into it. There we go. Also, a little disclaimer I should probably put here at the start of this video. You're not going to see really brilliant tactics, grand strategy in this game, but maybe you can learn a few things from it nonetheless. I mean, you can always learn from mistakes, especially when they're done by others, even better. But I think the main thing what you, or at least what I learned here once again, is no matter how things are looking, you should never give up. You see here, for example, Red was starting the game off with not building a barracks or anything, but they built a mill and a blacksmith, and those are two buildings which you... Blacksmith, this is a Deathmatch, usually played in starting post-Imperial Age. You have every single technology which has researched already, so blacksmith is not really worth an investment. And also the mill, you will need a mill later on to queue up your farms and stuff, but at this stage you really need military quickly. He was lucky that our opponent wasn't rushing so hard, otherwise he would have been dead in a few seconds already. And also, when you got the building which you don't need, just leave it there as natural barrier, or natural barrier, but it shields your villagers a little bit more. So just deleting it makes sense. Also a little bit early for farms who want to get military, more houses especially. See, like here, this is a little bit more how it should look. Well, this is not the ideal setup because these town centers here, castle, really exposed. You kind of want to keep it more close to this area. Let's see what my ally is doing. Greed's already making a little bit offensive moves here. Let's speed this up. This is a very long game, so I maybe should try to do it like this. Here, see this Nick the Mayor, yellow. Probably should introduce the players first. Okay, let's do this now. Starting with our opponent's team. Nick the Mayor Crack in yellow with the Britons to the left flank of our opponent's team. In the pocket there is Genghis Khan in blue playing with the Ethiopians. To their right flank there is Wildcat of Alba in purple playing with the Spanish, with a mixture of pikes, paladins and conquistadors. Oh, we put a little bit of pressure on Red here, but those castles have been finished in time. Future canoe and will wonders happen, and now he's also adding in pikes or halberdiers, even what you, if you like you should do if you're fighting against paladins. Of course, arbalists can give both canoe and halberdiers a little bit of pressure, too much pressure even. But okay. See here, this is not in a route you want to take attacking. Like, in the early game is a lot more important to snipe villagers than to get military kills. Because especially in a situation like this, you know you can't just overwhelm the opponent. Because if your paladins are not going to kill any of these castles, you should better go for the villagers, because villagers, especially when your opponent is locked in one town center, is something you want to get rid of in the early game as quickly as possible. He little forward by green, Quantum Tau, with the Italians on the left flank. I'm playing with the Persians, as you can see here in the center. I got a lot of town centers early on, so I can sustain the elephant production, because those are pretty damn expensive. Also adding lots of halberdiers, in case my elephants get converted and they don't completely lose to that. And yeah, I see my ally is doing somewhat fine-ish at this point. I thought it was the case at least. He's not dead yet, at least, so that's a good point. That's a good thing. In any case, green had a little push here, which did not pay off. This bomber tower almost finished, castle almost finished, but then he got delayed, disrupted, and was forced to retreat since he was fighting 2 players here. That is really not a wonder. Yellow tried to do a little flank maneuver here, it seems. And blue is really helping out on both flanks, doing what a pocket player should do, not what I'm currently doing here, which is not much at all. So here I'm adding siege now. And as my flanks seemingly are both doing fine, I just decide let's go for their pocket. I'm pretty sure they won't expect an attack there. Tons of elephants. They haven't seen any of my military just yet, so well, they know no halberdiers here to defend. Only a few castles, but those castles can't stop my elephants for a very long time. Especially since this siege is also starting to gather here, is on the way. There we go. And also, yeah, another thing here, also wrote that in the chat, green, in a situation like this, you got a very nice hill, you got economy right behind that. Oh, I'll build this. Nothing I want to see here. He has bomber towers, you could place a castle. He has bomber towers around to make sure this is a very safe area. Of course, something like this here can be walled off. And now the army of yellow and blue, they start to pressure here. But as you can see here, my army, the elephants mostly, left here going straight for the castle to kind of protect the halberdiers, which are not that well armored at all, so they can stay in the fight a little bit longer. But red now is under quite some pressure here. You see that they are bombers here, and yeah, there's not really anything red can do against that. This army is just yeah, it's pretty dead. I'm kind of trying to help you, but I don't have enough military here. I'm gathering a few guys, trying to just snap the siege. Well, that's not working. Oh no, red is doing the right thing, something you should remember here. His base is getting utterly overrun, so he just sends a few villages over here. This little town center. Actually, I'm not sure what this wall was meant to be, but hey, all again Russian protection, I guess. Building on the town center, building up again. Green also doing the same thing, because it doesn't look all that bright on his side either. His main base is practically gone, a few town centers left, but there was just no defense here, and a lot of trebuchet, especially British trebuchet, are quite dangerous. But if you now look at the center of the map, these elephants and the little bit of siege has done quite a good job. Blue's main base is getting more and more obliterated here, and its military production facilities are going down. Now purple sends some help, some halberdiers, but those guys are not really making a difference, especially now as heavy scorpions and onagers have been added. Yellow makes an effort, a little bit well, more successful, having a lot of longbows. Not sure what that's going to, so far probably gold is running out, but this castle doesn't look like it's really going up. Oh, it is. Never mind. So this is really something important you want to do as well. If you want to attack or defend somewhere, use fortifications, because it's a lot harder that way to push you back. Like here, purple basically built a complete forward base, production facilities, castles, town centers, all that stuff, and he is pushing into my base. And at this point I thought, okay, this really doesn't look all too well now. Yellow pushing on his flank, purple on this one. I mean, I took the most of blue out here. But, yeah, well, you can always rebuild. And if your flanks are both collapsing, then you probably cannot do that for all that long. But here I'm starting to slowly stabilize this. More siege will definitely help with that. But that's very nice micro on the conquistadors, I have to say. Splitting them again and again to avoid bombard cannon and onager shots. And I mean, they don't take too much fire to be taken out. But okay, now this was a little bit late. But they do a lot of damage to siege as well, so if you micro them well, you can really use them as an effective counter to other siege units. Okay, and now Ethiopian siege onagers, they are absolutely disgusting. They have that higher area of attack damage. They have a range of 9, so they are also outranging my onagers. Looks like he was sending them for the town center though, and not for my units, which is a mistake, of course. But there's a lot going on at the same time. Just pushing on this flank here, pushing on the other one, and at the same time trying to rebuild and get his stuff up. Another economy here. Push should have built some, like over here, some economy, some town centers, some farms. Because, well, he knew that this army was still around. And now it was only like a 50-50 chance if I pushed into his direction or the other one. And looks like he got the, well, shorter end of the stick. I decided to push for purple because he was really a big problem here. Yeah, I tried to invest into heavy units. Some elephants because I saw there a few halberdiers, but not a big amount. No monks around here as well, so elephants backed up the siege. That was, well, the gambit was taken here. Red isn't running any risks. Built 2 castles here, which are actually not the greatest idea, I think, because this is already restricting the building space he has. If we just build them there and over here, maybe would have more space for farms. But okay, and also there's the base here, which they just didn't find at all because it was right in the corner. And yeah, this will play a big part in the late game as well, because this kind of secures the trade route we got here from one full map half, so to say. And yeah, just as I said, branching out, that is helping out. Also, elephants keep pushing in here, and blue really doesn't have anything left. There's one town center here. This one is going down. This one is going down. Yes, yeah, he's building another one over here, but that's only like a few steps next to my army, so he's really betting on his ally to make the defense. But purple is more keen on pushing on this area. Let's actually see how purple's resources are doing. He has a lot of gold, not gold, food and wood left. And it's only on 142 pop. So I guess he would be spamming a lot more trash. Maybe some cavalry. Spanish got hussars as well that could help here against all that siege. It's kind of just sitting on these resources now. Okay. See these elephants, the siege. It's not even such a big army, but if you don't take care of such a force which can really take down buildings very quickly, siege rams and elephants, they can take down the occasional paladin or halberdier or whatever's running into their area. But a decided defense they cannot really penetrate. A defense which is now coming here in the form of yellows, monks and longbowmen. Of course, monks are a major weakness of the elephant. And I'm losing more elephants to conversions than I should do. Maybe adding some hussars here could help me combat those, or skirmishes even. Okay, and finally purple starts to put up a little bit more defense in this area. We should have a few more barracks in his home base as well. Okay, there we go. And yeah, but since he's defending at home now, the push here has come to a halt. Red has assembled an army again. He has all those castles here pumping out elite Shukunu. And at this point, blue calls GG. I mean, he could have built up from back here. He still got the corner under his control. And yellow coming in to stabilize this. But let's see, blue was good. Yeah, blue was completely out of wood here, so it's kind of making it hard to build up. He got a lot of food, a lot of gold, but I mean, what are you doing with food and gold? You could make. Could you train camels? Wait a second. Yeah, Ethiopians. No, they don't have the extra special camels, but they still get the normal heavy camel upgrade and... Okay, they're missing plate bar now, but still, this would have been a sufficient answer to those guys. But in the end, if you don't have any wood, you can't build stables, which means, yeah, no camels for you. I suppose you could have just bought that. I bought some wood, but then again, you don't really want to buy wood on the early game because it's very, very expensive. And yeah, but sometimes you just have to do that because you're sitting on all those resources. And yeah, kind of don't want to do that. Okay, but now let's see how yellow is doing. Lots of food, lots of gold as well here. As a decent income of lumberjacks. Oh, what it actually called is it? Wow, talking 45 trade units as well. So this is another thing. Yellow had a very, very good trade. In theory, in numbers it was great, but just look at this. There's 20 to 30, and don't want to count that entirely here. Let's say 20 trade cards, 25 maybe. And they're not doing anything, so it's basically more than half of its trade population not doing anything because they are stuck here. So either go clear it with some mangonels, onages, sorry, or just put a house here so they don't try to go there. Choke points can really ruin the trade. And I think if this problem wouldn't have been here, he would have gotten so much more gold and having absolutely no problem to keep this push going. Let's switch back to the normal view here. So yellow now completely stopped this push here. Purple doing his little part at the same time. But now here, see my army and reds pushing this area back. Clearing the trade route, which I talked earlier. There's this market. And here are 3 of mine, of course. Putting them over there would be better. But I talked about shell points earlier. You kind of want to have the trade route as clear as possible. And yeah, so that there are no disruptions coming up. Okay, some hussars should have checked that earlier. But I feel that salvadiers will probably take care of the situation. Maybe. Okay. Well, this forward gets cleared, but at the same time, yellow's making another push, took down this town center, and now green is getting finally pushed out of his initial base completely. Getting some more oranges. Okay, yellow just deleted this market, but this is not entirely solving this problem. Not really, because they still here, and I guess you would have needed to wall off this area as well to prevent this from happening. Yeah, that's something you don't want to see here. But now Yeah, the push here doesn't stop. Red keeps pushing in. I kind of let my army all around here, but purple now starts to build a little bit defensive positions here. Bomber towers, of course, elephants can take quite a lot, but bomber towers, well, they also do a lot of damage, and monks are around, so see that they're getting a lot of elephants converted. Okay. Jumping back and forth here, all things going on. A good amount of capped rams, some elite longbowmen. Would have really need some spearmen, do they have halberdiers? Yeah, Britons do have halberdiers to back this up, because this way is just a giant waste of resources. Been investing all those resources and time to get the rams here and the longbowmen. But I guess this kind of bought time to put up these castles here, which would make future aggression a lot easier. Also, of course, using a training facility for longbows. See his resource department, it's looking great. He should really just try to go to 300 population now, because he got the resources. His trade is now it's amazing. I guess he just sent all those guys to go to Wales and then it worked. Okay, no, it's not alright. He kind of manually dissolved that, but as soon as they just lets them do their job, they're getting clunked up again. He needs to clear up this this mess of trees, and then he can do it. Okay, now initiating a little counter push here, trebuchets, a lot of onagers, and oh, it's a very nice onager just. Okay, red tries to split as well. I think there's just too much stuff around to be able to reliable defend here. Okay, this siege is getting abandoned, sadly, and that means the official death of this push. Purple at the same time pushing red's little, well, secondary base here, and without that base they tried double gun as well, so that's something we really try to avoid in this game. See here, there's a lot of farming space created with deforestation, which in this case was actually good for us. It will only come in as a kind of a problem later on, because at some point just there were barely any trees left. Oh, and I have no idea how, but green got an army through here, past all of those castles, and sent them right into the strait. And you saw there's those trade cartridges are clumped up here. They killed all of them. Let's see, the trade units. Yeah, he's down to 31. I guess he's been training some more, but he lost a lot of economy in this little push. So that's always the big military actions which do a giant difference. But sometimes just having a few units at the right time at the right place, then that would be sufficient. But at the same time, talking about Alkhalim getting pushed, this area is completely cleared. I'm not too sure when that happened, but yellow is sending guys all over the place, sending some rogue rams, because defense can't be everywhere. Of course, here there's quite a bit of that, and taking down all this castle at key positions can make future pushes a lot easier. Now yellow putting down a big defensive wall because he had enough of losing his economy to pushes, putting down those fortified walls everywhere. Now I think green comes in a little bit too late to push through here. Here's some siege prepared. Let's see, what is yellow's answer to that? Okay, there's some longbowmen here, but they're not going to defend this. Okay, finally adding those halberdiers in. And so this castle is probably still doomed. Oh yeah. Elephants do decent splash damage. You see that, a lot of damage, guys. And if he's just going to stand here and fight, nope. These guys are doomed. Castle is down. Siege is deployed. Monks are here, but they shouldn't be able to do all too much against the siege. If I had noticed them. Yeah, they got a 1 conversion, but they really need to run now. Okay, because this is really screw them up. Purple making another push here, balling this castle just about to try to protect the trade. See, those are a lot of the trade cards, so they knew where they needed to put pressure on to really cripple my economy. See here, Alkhalim. My gold was really running low. I mean, it kind of was. It's only 1,600 in the bank. Just a few elephants and some siege, and those resources are gone as well. Although there's a lot of wood here. I mean, a lot of wood collected. But the safe forests together from are slowly starting to dwindle. So that will make wood chopping a little bit more dangerous business. Now this push actually still is going here. I nearly completely walled this castle, starting to dismantle it with a bomber tower, strangely enough. And more castles are about to fall as well. Or are they? Red is pumping out more halberdiers. You see this army, mainly elite skirms. Those halberdiers are not doing all too great. Probably should diversify your army just a little bit to make sure you don't fall for such a little counter. Okay, what Purple really should have done here is try to put a castle himself here, because that will just pick off every trade card coming along and kind of force players to relocate their trade if they don't paying attention. Now this is a smart thing. He's actually walling the trade off, which means either, well, you just send all the trade cards to your corner and say, okay, stop trading, or they would have needed to gather through this territory right over the battlefield under the bomber tower, which probably would have been their doom as well. But lately there was this one elite war elephant stopping the war from happening. And now more war elephants are coming in, some hussars as well. And this army, I mean, if you just throw enough halberdiers at a problem, it will go away eventually. But there are more efficient ways to do things. So just add some skirmishes in this army, and I mean, not easy also to kind of take down those conquistadors, all that stuff. Okay, but there's still a lot of trade left over. Let's see how much trade cards. I got 56 trade cards at the moment. Also, green put down markets, but I'm not sure. Okay, he has. Let's see, green is Quantum Tower. His resources are really not doing that great. Of course, it's the longer trade route. Probably should have started to relocate my markets at this point as well. Because, let's see here. The trade card for me will get me 79. And these were getting 107 gold per trip. But it's really paying off to have the trade line as long as possible. Okay. But yeah, this forward is going to fall. It's adding some paladins as well, but if your opponent is doing nothing but spamming those helps, that's probably not the best idea. So talking about maybe not the best idea, green put up his entire economy, because this is still empty. Put up his entire economy right next to the front line. And yeah, that is kind of hard to calculate danger. Just a few stray units like this, arbalist, slipping through, and you get massive economy problems. Now talking about things that could have been done better. These Chukano here messing up in the safety or under those 4 castles. 5 castles even. They should be a little bit closer to the front to be actually able to defend this, because you see Green's army is running very low. And now I thought, hey, we did that little push in the early game. Let's do that once again. You see here, got a lot of siege assembled, a lot of heavy scorpions to be able to fight any halberdiers coming around. A lot of elephants as well. But now, and I got a good start. I think I took down 2 or 3 castles. I know there's monks are coming in from the flank, and I have nothing to combat them with. The hussars are completely disassembling my entire siege I got, and the elephants are not doing much better. They're running into this absolute death trap. In the middle of 3 castles, there's a bomber tower here, a lot of longbowmen shooting in there, and there are better ways to spend your wall offense. At this point I thought, okay, the monks in the back and army in the front. I guess I'd rather try to kill a few units and not just lose every single elf into conversion, making my opponent stronger in the process. Okay. This area is finally stabilized. The castle is probably, yeah, it's getting erected very soon as well. Green building more army, making a little push here. And now it's getting frightening close. Actually, okay, never mind. He got very close to the trade in terms of taking apart the markets. That is good. Idle trade, something you don't want to have. That would shorten the trade route, but of course this will greatly diminish the amount of gold they get in. So rebuild the trade over there, probably re-establishing this wall here, of course, as well. Yeah, castle is up. And here you see a kind of lack of team coordination. I get my expensive units, the siege, the elephants in here. And red is sending some halberdiers to support me as well, but there's so many still standing here right next there. You don't want to split up your armies if you don't really... if it doesn't have a reason, like you need to protect key areas or something. Because there are two castles protecting that trade now. And those halberdiers can be utilized in a better way to support the push. Talk about supporting the push. What are those paladins doing here? Yeah, this is a very, very ugly situation. There are a lot of ugly situations in this game, I just noticed. So here, kind of try to reach the siege, but then they're kind of blocked off by the longbowmen. There's an insane number of monks here. Try to reach them as well, but didn't work either. And now those guys are just very confused, as was I at this point. So did I even take out one monk? Yes. 2 monks dead. I think I took 3 or 4 monks down. And now Green sees, oh, my ally is in peril there, in great peril. He sent his army to help me out, but my guys were already dead. And yeah, this is what you need to do, why you need to do the communication with the team, coordinate your attacks. Okay, but on the other side it looks a little bit better. Keeping the pressure on here is important. Never let your opponent rebuild if you got the upper hand. Just keep going in. Do more damage. Don't let them build a new defensive line behind the primary one. And to support that, something like castles and more production buildings on the front would have been required. I kind of still got my complete army from my base here, all the siege and all that stuff. Traveling the long way to this flank. There we go, there's the castle going up. So things are starting to change slowly. Also, I will just a 3-minute pop game like this. This game has already run for 1 hour and 17 seconds game time. Things start to get messy, but here finally I made a good call. Some paladins going here for the trade. And Cav archers here would be a lot better, actually. Because they can take down the trade cards efficiently and not just try to chase them and then get outrun by them. By long shot. If you can fight them in choke points, that's fine, but just going for the markets in most cases is the better scenario. Okay, this time I made a well-coordinated push here. Got a level each Shokunu in the back. Got some siege to take down any nasty things around. But again, lost more elephants to conversion than I'd like to, because my cavalry and my elephants started to take down my own siege. Green also got involved there a little bit, but his military is not looking great at this stage. Let's see. He has 13,000. Wow. Yeah, there's just 200 population as well. Let's see, where's the population going? 21 trade units. He has 83 ranged infantry. Oh wait, that's red. Never mind. Green was Quantum Tower. Yeah, 24 infantry. I could probably try another archers, but he doesn't have nearly enough production facilities, or not any archer ranges at all. Or just go for siege. Italians do have quite a decent siege. The cannons are nice, and also they do have a good unit selection. This push had kind of come to a grinding halt. Purple started to push me back again, or push us back again. And I try to reinforce this, but as I said, I'm using my base over here to send those troops in. Taking a long time, and now just started to add more production buildings at the front line. Just holding onto this one castle, in trying to make it work. Red finally managed to take out this little base here, just some production buildings here. Sure, kind of side of a thorn in his side. Okay, and again this here, messing up army in the back where not even raiding could come through. Not a good move. Especially when your team is making a push here. I started to add in some skirmishes as well. Was it due to the lack of gold? Yeah. I mean, I didn't really lose too much in terms of economy. Yeah, 50 trade units, 20 idle villages. Okay, let's not like take a look at this statistics. Just some statistics right now. It's well, rather there's this grand military maneuver. More bombard cannons coming in, backed up by a whole truckload of Chukunu, some halberdiers in the mix as well, elephants for good measure, and condottieri to fight those halves. Because they, I mean, yeah, the Persians, they don't even have 200 swordsmen, they only have the long swords, which really makes them not the best choice to be made here. But the condottieri, they're good attack, they are fast, you can produce them very quickly. And looks like we're losing this side here once again. Lots of longbows, some siege, although green takes decent care of the rams at least. And luckily at this point yellow doesn't have any trebuchets with this army, which have made a short process with those guys here. Okay, green finally added some archery rangers as well to make sure of all of his left resources. Okay, this push is, yeah, still going. Another castle being put down, so put up, erected, whatever, built, to make sure we don't lose all the progress we just made. I mean, there's not really anything of value in this area anymore. No resource. Oh, there's actually still some stone. Okay. Only this forest. But on all these areas we just captured, there are a lot of trees because, well, a lot of fighting occurred there. So it wasn't enough time to gather from all those resources. Also, never leave your bombard cannons open to hussar raids like this. Those things are pretty expensive. Now purple started to add in more monks here as well, getting conversions on the elephants. And once again we'll see the trend of my elephants killing my own siege. Not ideal. Not at all. Okay. Now yellow started to add in those trebuchets, and this push is getting a lot more momentum with that. Because these defenses suddenly... They don't really look that impressive after all. But the time he took to get those trebuchets to the front, I was able to add more skirmishes, more condottieri to put up a defense here. I'm also not entirely sure how good the condottieri in this situation was, because it got nerfed in the past. I think it has less pierce armor than it used to do. And that makes it a lot easier to take them down with the longbowmen. But of course I get to take out the siege somehow. And okay, you see cavalry. Cavalry is the better move here. They also cost food and gold. And gold I got a lot of at this stage, because all of this trade. There's some slight clutter going on here with the single hussar watching Watching over the trade, but it's all by the measure. See, more military units are coming, it's just staying around. I should press the idle loader button more often. Okay. But green is finally building up his economy here in the back, which is a lot more safe than this one, which you just noticed. It's getting pushed. Very good idea to relocate. I decided against the push in this situation here. There was also Hitler didn't want to push up. And these trebuchets are very dangerous as well, because the Britain ones, they do have splash damage. Especially these skirmishes, they just drop to trebuchet fire if you make them this a little bit. And of course a lot of longbowmen can take down paladins if you give them the chance. But over here it really does not look like... Okay, never mind. Purple still can put up a fight. Did he convert a combat cannon? Is that how it works? Ay. Okay. But red is still in the game. And yeah, purple kinda... Yeah, he pushes my bases here, but at the same time red builds up more and more army. See that here? Yeah, those guys should be over here. Then this wouldn't have even happened. But okay. He was still in play to deathmatch, and there was really a lot going on here. This attack, I'm not sure if this was the right call to do, because I was outnumbered heavily. He probably was trying to avoid losses, wait for the siege to arrive. But at the same time, he left his trebuchets completely open to attack, so he retreated here, which means trebuchets, well, they had no cover, and then few paladins can take them out very easily. Alright. Yeah, purple still putting up a decent fight here. Bringing in some skirmishers now as well. Was it really running out of gold so hard? Let's see. Wildcat. Yeah, okay. At this point, oh GG. His economy isn't in a great state. Or at least his resources. He's just spending everything he has there. Trying to do everything just to stop us too. While Yellow tries to make a push. But without all of his trebuchets now, Nick the Mayor got slowed down once again. He needs to bulk up, get more army here. He's adding more halberdiers, and Quantum Tau trying to pull off a sneaky once again. He's building something. I think he was building siege equipment. Let's see. Yeah, he's building siege workshops, taking all those houses here to avoid detection for a little bit. Okay, let's go to your Nick the Mayor. No, it was Quantum Tau. Yeah, some cap rams. Trying to build a bomber talk. Maybe this is not that sneaky after all. And he was gonna take down the trade once again, but Yellow spotted it. And oh, this was. I mean, he took down the mangonels, the onages, but he lost way too many guys. That means that just a handful of longbows and some halberdiers can take down this push. And it was kind of bad luck for Green to push through right next to his barracks, so just if you guys can come out here and completely clear the siege. With that massive army of red just standing around. Sometimes you just need to give some clear orders and everything can turn out fine, because those are... Wait a second. Red. He had 186 halberdiers here. Also look at this, those paladins are just standing around here, and those halberdiers are just standing around here, and well, they're just chilling, I guess. After the trade got relocated to this market. Okay, but it's just... wow, this is... so much army. Purple tried to make another push, added some more siege here. Almost took down this castle, but then all of a sudden almost 200 halberdiers appeared. those guys, yeah. I said that a few times already, and I think I don't need to repeat that over and over again. Make sure your military is there where you need it, or even better, where your allies would need it. Okay, but this really looks like now it is the end of our opponents. That F halberdiers soaking up all the fire, they're taking down the monks as well. A whole ton of siege behind them. And here I'm pushing together against yellow with green, taking down all of those oranges so the arbalist can, well, not die, which seems like a good idea to me. This is still open here for some reason, so you could push in there any minute. Ah, but a few of those, I don't know how green did that again, but looks like some arbalists found it for the way here, taking out a few more trade cards. And this also, yeah, as I already told, those small legends really can have a big impact on the long run. Of course, having 200 halberdiers also doesn't hurt. And now this is finally what I was talking about all the time. Having production facilities in the front line, producing in the front line, fighting there at the same time with no time loss, and this just puts so much more pressure on your opponent. Also those siege workshops there. That's just what you want there. I think this game can't go on for much longer now. Red is... wow, Red is not giving up just yet though. He's producing everywhere. Trying desperately to cling to this hill. And make this attack to faulty. But does it have any answer to the siege rams at the moment? I fear not. Would have some champions over here. Yeah. So if you lose this hill, I think, I mean, those castles, when they're still here, they will slow down attack, but because the con is right next to them, right behind them, and that's not good. Also, yeah, completely missed that again, but yellow made another push, and green's economy kind of got wiped again. There's nothing left here, everybody is dead there, just some villagers there, and green just keeps rebuilding, and ooh, even red got wiped. I guess the castle here would have helped, but kind of got them clumped up in the corner. Okay, but hey, just give it up. Train some more villagers, rebuilds everything. And that is really the key to a lot of deathmatch games. Just sometimes it's enough to not give up, to not die, to just survive somehow. Even if you're just having some villagers running into a corner. So that Red had just a handful, like 10, 12 villagers, if at all, running to this corner. Some hiding over there. And you're declaring an offensive GG, aggressive GG, whatever. Where did Red's villagers go? Off the front line, I guess? Yeah. Okay. Just having a few survivors, and then you can suddenly have 200 halberdiers in your opponent's base all of a sudden. Just like that. Because this is a team game after all. And Purple agrees here that it was a GG indeed. Those guys are just still here facing off, but they're kinda tired of the fighting. Just chilling down the corner. Nobody cares too much about them. Yellows keeps making those tries to divert our attention desperately. Sending in more and more capped rams to distract as much as possible. Adding a few lungwomen as well. I think just slow down the advance here, but we're not really slowing down. The pressure is still on the castles, the final two castles up in the siege, and if those castles are down, well, yellow is falling shortly. More conductors coming in. And I mean, he's taking down a few archery ranges, taking on a stable here. The district workshop probably is still as well. But all of this is not really vital. It's annoying, it's taking away attention, which is probably the reason why I did that. But the push here is still going on, and the Rams... Okay, the Rams not anymore here for 2 more HP. There we go, it's dead. But his economy is still not safe. And that was kind of breaking his neck here. So Yellow tried to defend this area as well. Did that with moderate success even. Taking out a lot of siege. But I think there would be better choices than champions. Although, of course, with a lot of halberdiers, there will be champions. He even took down the elephants with champions, so he's had some determination. Yeah. But I think this is everything purple is left in terms of economy. No, never mind. He still has this sprawling base in the middle, building more houses. And he's not giving up just yet. He's sent siege rams and kept rams here, but this time Paladins are there to repel this attack. The last castle will probably fall as well, since a lot of crocheters coming in. Let's speed this up a little bit. Yeah, lots and lots and lots of siege. Because, let's see. Wow, Red had an insane amount of resources. That's another thing in late game, just try to spend everything you got and invest it smartly. And then you shall succeed. Just having resources is nice and dandy, but you also need to find good ways to spend them. The military, in many cases, is a good bet there. Yeah, I can always population lock there. So... oh, where did those resources go? Ah, Paladins, okay. Yeah, seeing that Yellow... oh, Yellow is really desperate to stop an end to this. Tried to build a castle here as well, right next to all the siege workshops. Because, yeah, they build stream really bad things right when it's hard. And Yellow is... yeah, that is a lot of units, but there's everything that's just trash. This trade is idle, because there's nobody to trade with anymore. And condotieros, they really make short work of any treasures, especially when they're streaming like this. So I said earlier, you shouldn't always group up your army in the back of the base, but sometimes you need to have a little bit safer gathering point, so you kind of you can assemble an army before you send them in, and or just send the army in and then maybe hope that it's enough. Okay, but Yellow, kind of this was just a last effort, spending all the resources he had left in his bank. And Purple calling GG as well. I mean, he still had his base in the middle, could have kept the fight going for a little bit more. He had some relics here as well, so there's still... no, not. Some gold mines here staying around. Whew. But there was 2 hours, 10 minutes in game time. Quite a lengthy game. A lot of mistakes have been done here. This was also the last game from the stream, so I was probably tired and did a lot of mistakes here, as you already could tell probably. But I thought this was quite an epic game. I wanted to share that with you. I hope you could take something out of it, if it only was some entertainment. And before I say goodbye, actually, let's take a look at the stats. There we go. Got the highest total score by not a lot actually. Yellow was closing in there, but the kills 2,300 kills here, 345 raises. I think this was my team. Let's see, red and blue. Yeah, I got more than almost 3.5 the times the raises of all the rest of my team, which happens if you're the only one who's training siege engines, or mostly. Never mind. Yellow, green also a lot. Red could have done a little bit more, but he kind of also relying on me there, so this kind of team play back and forth aspect going in. But again, diversifying your army isn't a bad idea in many cases either. And you see here, yeah, green actually lost a 145, and purple even 282 buildings. and they just kept fighting. They just kept rebuilding, getting new economies, getting new armies, helping out your allies, and that is just the key to success in many cases. Also, they get a combined conversion count of 72, which is an whole army in itself, especially when you get a lot of Alphines, a lot of Paladins conversions. That's a lot of resources go there. So here, 261 army in a 3-man population match. I guess he just deleted villagers in endgame, or just lost a lot and didn't care to replace them because he had so many resources piled up. Talk about resources: 100,000 food, almost 90,000 gold, and very close to Yellow's 61,000 trade profit, almost 62,000. And yeah, that was, see how important trade is here. Out of the 80,000, oh no, almost 90,000 gold I got, 61,000 was from the trade. So almost everything. Same goes for Nick Damer. Oh. Yeah. What is there left to say? They got relics rented as well. I didn't care about those at all for some reason, because I was a little bit occupied with other things at the same time. You want to see how here, how it was basically non-existent, and then boom, suddenly he was back on the plan. Same for green here, really. At this point, I didn't know we could still. I mean, I had an army, but everybody else was just dead at the same time. But they stayed in the game, they rebuilt, and yeah, as I said again and again today, just help your team, do stuff, try to survive, and try to be helpful wherever you can. Okay, this has been quite a lengthy video now, but yeah, I think it was quite an entertaining game. It was of absolute proportions, as you might say, and yeah, I would like to say thanks for watching. See you next time. Goodbye. This has been Alkhalim.